In today's take, I want to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers, and I want to talk about how they need to take advantage of some of their lower competition that they're going to be facing going forward. Now, before we get into that, though, please like, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell just so you get the newest and the bonus content first. We put out content every day, so you won't miss any content here. So let's just go ahead and jump straight in. The Clippers definitely, tonight they're playing a team in the Detroit Pistons. There's really no excuses. You have to go out there and beat this team. I mean, honestly, we saw Detroit Pistons up by 17 points against the Lakers. And that melee that broke out, the Lakers came back and won the game because they say it energized them, gave them some juice or some energy, but they came back and lost the next game. So it's really up and down season for them. But at the same time, the Clippers have to go in there and dominate. And that's exactly what I think they'll do against the lonely Pistons. Honestly, I think the Clippers should win by 10 to 20 points easily. They definitely have the better team. The Pistons have no threats, no anybody. Cade Cunningham has been a bust so far from what I've saw. I never really thought that he would be any good anyway. I thought he was just almost like a waste of a pick to me. But, I mean, hey, he definitely could prove me wrong in the future. I hope he does. I hope he succeeds. I want to see everybody succeed in the long run. So, but based on what I see right now, I just don't see him being the type of premier player that they kind of made him out to be, or like he could be. I don't see it, but I mean, hey, anything can happen, anything can change. So I'm definitely all for that if it works out for him. But at the same time, I think the Clippers definitely go in there and handle business the way they're supposed to. I think the score will be like 121 to 98, something like that. I think the Clippers will go in there and make an example of them. And this is one of them games that I want to see from the Clippers, kind of, because I want to see if they can find a way to all be efficient at one time in the same game. Because I feel like if the Clippers can be an efficient, well-oiled machine on offense in one game, pretty much with multiple of their players, especially going against a team like the lowly Pistons, this is one of them games where they can, build confidence. Like, okay, we can try different things on the floor on our offense, but we're definitely finding good shot selection along with the ball movement we need to have. And that's the mentality the Clippers need to have going into every game. And, when I said something about playing down to their competition, and taking advantage of their competition, this is what they need to do. They need to take advantage of competition like this, because this is the competition that you're going to play against, where you can basically go out there and take practice shots. Detroit Pistons, I mean, you could be down by 25 points against Detroit and come back and beat them if you really want to, because they're a team that you take lightly, and they're a team you're supposed to take lightly because they're just not very good. And that's very understood. But if it comes down to it and the Clippers need to, if they find themselves falling behind against a team like this, they should definitely be able to come back, because they definitely have the better team, better roster, and they definitely have the best player on the floor, which is Paul George, who I think will score 25, 30 points. Might not even need 30 points to beat this team, but even still, I want to see Paul George put together more efficient type games where he's shooting a better percentage, because when it comes time to play the good teams, you're going to have that type of shooting game where you go 12 for 14 or 12 for 16 from the field, or 17 for 21 from the field, and have about 40, 50 points, something like that. You have to be efficient against the good teams, but you have to practice that against the lowly seeded teams as well, so you can build your mental and your confidence up to do that against the good teams. So when I say that, the Clippers need to go into this game and put their foot down and don't allow the Detroit Pistons to, come back or come out there and beat them and make them look like an idiot, because, I mean, they already had two teams do that, which is the Pelicans and the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier this season. So hopefully the Clippers don't allow something like that to happen again. But that's the one thing the Clippers have to learn how to do. Against lower competition, you're going to have to find ways to seize the moment and dominate. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. Seizing the moment and dominating the teams you're supposed to beat is definitely en route to being a really, really, really good team to a really great team that can put you in contender status of winning a championship. You have to be able to beat the teams you're supposed to. You can't go out there and play against teams and be like, oh, well, yeah, we had the better team and we got the better talent on the floor, and think teams are going to lay down for you, because they just don't. And they never will. And they're professionals just like you are. And the Clippers have to understand that. Stop going out there playing playing against teams like Detroit Pistons, playing down to the competition. When you see a team like the Lakers struggle against them, that's one thing. The Lakers are still trying to figure out who's the go-to guy, who's the number one star, and who takes the last shot, and how they're going to implement Russell Westbrook. They got a lot of questions around that team. But the Clippers, there are no questions around the Clippers. So everybody know Paul George is the guy. He's been the guy up until, Kawhi got hurt. And then, after Kawhi got hurt, and now that Kawhi is waiting to come back, Paul George has to step up and be efficient and lead the troops by example, being efficient, taking good shots, not being overzealous and taking bad shots, because that's just going to make the guys under you do the same thing. So when that happens and when you're missing, you lose the teams you're supposed to beat. And that's just not the way it's supposed to be for the Clippers. So I hope that they come out in tonight's game, giving you my prediction. Like I said, 120-98 for the Clippers. I don't think anybody is a threat to them on Detroit. It's no need to even talk about them, no individual player, because nobody stands out to the point where it makes you feel like or feel comfortable that they have a chance against the Clippers. Because honestly, in all honesty, they don't. They really don't. The Clippers should go out there and handle business, and I expect them to. And I expect Reggie Jackson to keep on the tear that he's playing with. I think he's going to have 20, 25 points himself. I think Marcus Moore's going to have a big game too, around 20 points. So, get his confidence going. So I think that's going to be big for the Clippers going forward. And I think they'll definitely, win tonight's game. But going forward with the competition, anytime they get opportunities to beat a team or, find a team where they're playing like the Pelicans or something like that, they need to take advantage of that and win all those games. Don't lose not one. You already lost one or two against two teams you weren't supposed to. Don't allow it to happen no time during this season going forward, because you need all the wins you can get. And you remember, you got to stay afloat so you can be a playoff team and not be a play-in tournament team and might possibly get knocked off and don't, make it to your ultimate destination, which is, the finals or, trying to win a championship. You definitely can't do that if you don't make out the play-in tournament, because you won't even make the playoffs. So the Clippers have to add up wins like this and keep them going, keep it moving, and move on to the next. But hey, that's my take on the situation. Leave any comments in the comment section as always and let me know what you think. And hey, Khaliis out.